I'm just going to say this out front. This isn't the video that I actually wanted to do today. I actually wanted to do another video that was about Doctor Sleep, or at least a review of the movie. But a thing happened today, and it stopped me from being able to see it. So, whatever. But in this being the world of movie stuff and the internet, I can talk about whatever the fuck I want. So I'm going to talk about movie news, and that is starting with The Batman. Also, I have a Batman The Dark Knight Rises poster back there. Well, The Dark Knight Rises, not Batman The Dark Knight Rises. I like the poster. It's a good poster. I even have Doctor Who over there. And the Avengers. Well, Avengers Infinity War. But anyway, I had the Avengers there, but I replaced it with with Infinity War. Not a big room. Anyway, so the Batman. I'm basically I'm going to be talking about the casting and all the stuff that I have heard about the movie, rumors and stuff, things I like so far, and things that I might have a bit of minor error on the side of caution about, and basically the things that I like the casting so far, the casting that people that has been done that has been revealed in this movie or rumored as well. I actually like those casting choices because they are great actors. And if you are one of those people that don't actually like the casting of Robert Pattinson as the Batman, I strongly encourage you to actually look into his acting history post Twilight. Because after Twilight, he's actually tried to do a little like more small screen stuff under the radar, but hone his skills so that he can actually build himself up to be on the big screen one more time, and hopefully bring it back with one great punch. And another movie that has come out this year that I haven't seen, but I've heard it's really great. In fact, I've heard brilliant things about it, like mind blowing things about it. Is called Lighthouse, The Lighthouse, which is a movie that stars Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe, who played the Green Goblin in Spider Man, who is one of the greatest actors and the best casting choice for the fucking Joker. But nobody's done it yet. Although Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger are the great ones, as well as Jack Nicholson. I watched that last night. I thought it was cool. Although it did lose me at a point. Anyway, moving on. I wish I had editing software, otherwise I could edit this shit out. Anyway, so the casting for this movie, somebody like Robert Pattinson being cast as the Batman, I have no problem with that because I have heard, like I haven't actually seen any of his other stuff, but I have heard that he is great. He is a great actor. He's done better since Twilight, and he deserves it. And he's probably just doing everything that he can so that his IMDb gets this to his Twilight movies, so he doesn't have to think about them or hear about them ever again. Although he will, because you Twihards are fucking insane. Seriously, crazy. Anyway. So there are other casting reveals that we've heard. There's Zoe, somewhat. I can't remember. Not that I can't remember it. It's just I can't pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I don't want to butcher it. But she's been cast as Catwoman, and I don't actually mind that. I actually think I haven't seen anything other than Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, which she is in also, and I didn't like that movie that much, so I can't really assess too much, but I didn't have a problem with her character or her acting, so I'm not like one of those just like that is going to be horrible, horrible, horrible. Nope. No, I'm one of those people. I'm definitely one of those people that is like I hear a casting choice and I'll be like, well, I hope you do well. Don't know that much about you. Probably should. But there are also other casting, like one other that I know of. I don't know of the actor, but is the person who is playing the Riddler in this movie, and that person, I think his first name's Paul. I don't know his last name. I don't really know of him, but I have heard great stuff about his acting career. So I hope he does well as the Riddler. In fact, I have heard that they are trying to do that. They're going to do a bit more serious Riddler, sort of like the Batman the Animated Series Riddler, which I think will be a fantastic Riddler for the big screen. Somebody like Jim Carrey is still. They're okay for the role of the Riddler, at least a version of him, but he's not the Riddler as I prefer him. Although I do like a Riddler the Riddler that is in the Arkham series. that Riddler's a little more on the crazy side, but he's contained. He's not fucking Jim Carrey. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, but I do err on the side of caution because I don't know that much about the actor. I have heard that he is a good actor, but I'm waiting to see what he does for the big screen. Now we're moving on to rumors. Rumors like one casting choice that could possibly have Matthew McConaughey as Harvey Dent or Two-Face. And I think that is fucking great. I actually love Matthew McConaughey. I've seen movies like Interstellar and other movies that he has been in, and each time that I've seen him in a movie, he has blown my mind with how he has acted. All right. That is a horrible Matthew McConaughey impression. I think everybody does that. Oh well, I did it too. Anyway, there are other casting rumors that I have heard of. Casting rumors include Andy Serkis and Colin Farrell being cast as both the Penguin and Alfred. Andy Serkis is apparently being thought of for being Alfred, while Colin Farrell is being thought of to be the Penguin. I can see Andy Serkis being Alfred because I have seen him in some serious roles, not very many of them because I think he's more of a comedic actor. I've seen him in Star Wars, and he's definitely a serious actor in that one. And then there's also the Apes movies, the Planet of the Apes movies, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes. And if Andy Serkis gets into this movie as Alfred, I can absolutely see him as Alfred because he would be fucking amazing. And also, nobody really talks about the Alfred that was from Batman 1989 or that whole series. That Alfred was an awesome Alfred. I loved that Alfred. I mean, if I was going to decide between that, I don't know the actor's name. I'm sorry, but if I was going to decide between that Alfred and then also the Alfred, the Michael Caine Alfred, Michael Caine, no Michael. Shit, I forgot. I know his name. I do know it. I forgot it. Michael Caine. I think that's it. I'm gonna kick myself for that one. But yeah, those two Alfred. If I was going to choose between one of those Alfreds, I'd probably actually go for the 1989 Alfred. Because that Alfred, that guy was actually he was very at home almost with Michael Keaton's Batman or Val Kilmer's Batman or even George Clooney's Batman. And I always liked his Alfred. I thought his Alfred was more the father figure to Bruce Wayne, where Michael Caine. Fuck. I always thought he was very stern. He was very serious towards Bruce. He did have his comedic moments, like absolutely, he had his comedic moments. But I do prefer. But if I was going to choose between one or the other, I would definitely choose the 1989 Batman, Alfred. Yeah, he's my Alfred. I'm gonna stick with that. He is my Alfred. Sounds weird. Anyway, but then there's also Colin Farrell, who's being talked about being the Penguin. While I do know that he is a great actor, I just don't know if he's going to be the Penguin because the Penguin is more of a larger than life kind of guy, literally speaking. But I do know that there are other versions of him that are more skinny. That like they still have the eyepiece and they have the top hat and they have the umbrella and stuff. Maybe even along those, like the one in Gotham. But the one in Gotham was still more in line with what the Penguin was, even though he was out of his freaking mind. But I can see Colin Farrell bringing a more stern and more Penguin that I like from the Arkham series. The Arkham series was a great series. Had two of my favorite characters in that series, and that was Two-Face, and that was also the Penguin. Both of those characters were doing very well in those games. Like every character that were put into those games were done very, very well. And also, it's pronounced Raish, not Raz. Putting that out there. Moving on. But yeah, I just love Two-Face. I always thought that the Two-Face in The Dark Knight wasn't done as well as he could have. Like he was in the background. Like he didn't have enough time to shine as Two-Face. I mean, he definitely had his moments. He definitely had some great moments as Harvey Dent and Two-Face. Like you could definitely see the duality kind of with him. I mean, that's probably one of my biggest gripes about that movie is the fact that Two-Face wasn't utilized and you couldn't really see the duality as well as you could have. I mean, in the like if you haven't played Arkham City, I'm going to spoil a bit for you. So go play that game. Go play that game too. Like actually, go play that game. Go finish all the Riddler segments because this really has to do with the Riddler. Like finishing, like collecting all the Riddler stuff and then talking about that. But I believe it was also in the animated series, so spoilers for that too. So if you haven't seen that, whatever. But you've been warned. But yeah. I always loved what happens with Two-Face, or at least the idea behind him. Like the idea that the multiple personalities was always there to begin with. Like if you haven't played Arkham City, there's a part there's like a little interview tapes. There's interview tapes that you can get in completing the Riddler segments in which they talk about in which Two-Face is having an interview with Hugo Strange, and Hugo Strange is looking talking to him and saying, was the multiple personalities a part of your was your multiple personalities created by the Falcone segment or the Falcone problem when your face got burned off? Was it always there? Which is a great question because it's a great concept because was that accident the part that drove him to go mad, that drove him to be two different people inside one head, or was it also or was it there to begin with and the accident is what caused it to become more prominent? I love that idea and I hope that they can do this in that movie. Another thing, that they can do that in the new Batman movie. I would edit like a lot of this shit out if I could, but I can't. So, I also in the Dark Knight, he was never really two different people. There was never like you couldn't really feel the fact that there was two different people inside his head. I mean, he did flip the coin, and he always chose with the coin, with what the coin had said. Like if it was one or the other, you're either dead or I'm going to spare you. But he never really had the tie between within himself. I mean, he was always set to he was always willing to kill a person. But the best part that I love about Harvey Dent and Two-Face is the fact that they are two separate people. They're inside one head, but they're also they constantly bicker back and forth. The light side and the good side. The light side and the dark side. Duh. You know, like the Force. But there was just that missing in the Dark Knight. I never really felt that in the Dark Knight. You could always tell in the Arkham series that there was definitely two people inside Harvey Dent's head because he was always talking to himself. Because not always, but he was talking to himself. Like the only way to get ourselves in this place is to get ourselves some respect. Fear is how we get respect. Show them all how we do things. You should be fair though. This is a place of justice after all. Strong justice, killer, and they'll all fear us. Bring out the defendant. And I always loved that. Like Harvey Dent was two separate people inside the one head. And I always loved that about Two-Face. Penguin's another person that I like better in the Arkham series than in any adaptation that they've done about him, even the Batman Returns one, because I prefer him being a very he's not insane. He's just a criminal. He's just a guy who's just taking advantage of Gotham's suffering, and he's just dealing with that his own way. He's putting guns on the streets. He smuggles guns. He smuggles drugs. He does trafficking and shit like that. He's a full-blown criminal. He's an actual criminal. But in Batman Returns, he wasn't really a criminal. He was just insane. He had his crew and everything. He was never really the Penguin from the comics that I know of him, at least. I mean, if you love Danny DeVito's Penguin, personally, I can see the appeal. I know why people love him, but I prefer a different version of him. I definitely enjoyed his version of the Penguin. I just prefer a different one. But that's just me, and I definitely don't like the version of the Penguin that is in Gotham, because that series, while it did have good moments, it never felt like it portrayed the Penguin as well as they could have. He was always just like that one step away from snapping and just killing a guy, and then just moving on. Granted, that is how the Penguin is, but it was more on the crazy side than it was on the serious side, and he was yelling a lot. He did yell a lot, like a lot, and he. But yeah, I also never felt the respect that someone like the Penguin actually gets through being his character. His character is one of those characters that is who he is. Like, some people hate him, but a lot of people also respect. Like, people hate him for sure, but people also respect him because they know that he can get shit done. He's a guy that people go to in order to get like the whatever they're doing done. Even Batman probably goes to him for some information at some point, because he is a reliable source of information, because he is like the eyes and the ears of the city, because he runs the city. Yeah, that's really what I think about this movie. Also, I do think I personally think that this movie could end up being a little too crowded, because I do know that they're trying to get six villains into this movie, along with Batman, with Alfred, and a movie that is about 2 hours long. That could work, but it might be a bit overcrowded, like trying to work too many characters into the same story. It has worked in the past. I mean, Avengers has done it so very well, but I err on the side of caution, because I'm just hoping, I am absolutely hoping that they can finally dethrone the Dark Knight, but it probably won't. Because it might end up being overcrowded, overstuffed with a bunch of people. I have heard a rumor that the Riddler is going to be the main villain of the movie, which I love. I actually want to see the Riddler be a proper villain that isn't Jim Carrey's version of the Riddler. I want to see more of a version that's from Batman the Animated Series, a more stoic, and more what do you call it? Like a character that always knows that always feels like he's in control of the situation, and always wants to overstep Batman, and wants to just take it that extra mile in order to just destroy Batman with the one riddle that the Batman will never solve. I also want to see the Batman be a detective, a proper detective, an actual person who figures shit out. He looks at a clue and is like, oh, this shit, yeah, this means these chemicals. I want to see that. I want to see a proper Batman that is a true detective, the world's greatest detective of the Dark Knight franchise. The Dark Knight franchise of Batman. I want to see a proper detective who knows martial arts, who can kick ass, who can work out something by a vague ass clue. And that's really what I think. Also, I hope they do. I hope they this is probably my personal opinion, but if they're going to have like 6 villains in the same movie, I kind of want to see it like the like Arkham Origins, where they have where a bunch of where Batman has like a price tag on his head, like $50 million, and all these villains are just coming to Gotham, and like, oh, well, I'm gonna get my fucking prize. I just want to see that. Anyway, I didn't do this in my last video, but I hope, but I'm definitely going to do it now. If you like what you see here and you want to see more, please click the subscribe button. Also, hit the like button, because, I mean, that's cool. Also, spread this around a little bit. Get people watching these stuff. I actually want to see. I actually want. My goal is to have at least more than 10 views per video, more 10 views per video. But that's just something I want. That's just something I personally want, and I hope that happens. And I hope you guys are enjoying this, and I hope you guys just want to see more.